We're really doing this, huh? Okay. I once again need to apologize for looking like bleh. I feel like crap. I've been up for the past 8 hours, just got home, didn't get any sleep, but it comes to find out that we have a sequel to the highly successful, highly anticipated, and highly rated Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. So yes, we got an announcement that Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 is coming this fall with a whole bunch of updates and features that weren't present in the original game. And while normally I would do my whole reaction video bit in excitement and pog faces, I already saw the trailer earlier. I have a lot of thoughts. I thought more about the game and I have even more thoughts. So this is just my mixed thoughts and emotions around the announcement. Oh God, I'm so fucking tired. And I could just be in a bad mood thinking about this, but I have a lot of good things to say and I also have a lot of bad things to say. So it's gonna be one of those types of videos. So the positives. The game looks objectively better. The entire art style of the game got a bit of a makeover, and the graphics look objectively better than what they had in the first game. We're also apparently getting all new gameplay modes, a whole bunch of alternate costumes, voice acting on launch, which is a big step up from what they had last time, new characters, and a campaign mode. On top of that, from what I've seen in the trailers and other articles, they're also going to be coming out with a bunch of more new mechanics for offensive and defensive options. And most exciting for me personally is that they're adding one of my most highly anticipated characters, which is Squidward. That's not a joke. This is serious. I actually wanted Squidward to be in the game so I can main him. And they're adding Jimmy Neutron as well. They also very briefly showed Donatello and Raphael without really giving them a whole lot of spotlight, which I thought was a bit interesting, but you know, they're two more Ninja Turtles characters. We all knew what the real reveals were. We all wanted Squidward and Jimmy Neutron in this game. Now they just need to add Timmy Turner and we're all set. We're also apparently getting crossplay as well, which is something that I believe was promised in the first game, but they're not releasing it until now because they just couldn't figure it out or they just couldn't do it with the previous game. From my knowledge and understanding, it's a lot harder to implement crossplay in a game that doesn't have crossplay originally, so it's better to start from scratch. And it seems like a lot of the things that they wanted to improve on and a lot of the critiques that people had with the first game are being addressed here in this new title. But I could just have bitter resentment because this is another thing that I am also not really a big fan of. Because looking at NASB 2, this seems like the game that they were trying to make all along, but they just didn't the first time around. And I know that game development can be a very slippery slope where you have limited development time and budget, calls that you want to make that the higher ups don't want you to do, and a whole bunch of other different issues that I'm not going to get into here. But the concept of taking the first title as sort of like a test run, using the sales, getting all of that revenue, and then using that towards a second game seems like a very good idea. And like I said, I'm just feeling this way just because I'm feeling this way. But it reminds me a lot of what Capcom did 10 years ago with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where they released Marvel vs. Capcom 3, A Fate of Two Worlds, and then about 11 months later, they released an Ultimate Edition of the game that had more characters, more stages, more game modes. And while Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 over time turned out to be a very, very successful game, and in fact, I believe is number 4 in entrance and EVO this year, it felt like a slap in the face 10 years ago, and it feels like a slap in the face now with Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. The other thing too is that this game is also launching at full price once again. I remember when the game first came out, I was actually able to get it on sale at launch for I think it was like 30 to 35 bucks. So I felt like I was kind of getting my money's worth with the $30. And I know this is kind of a subjective opinion, but just kind of looking at what they're presenting here and seeing the similarities that it had with Marvel vs. Capcom 3 10 years ago, buying another installment 2 years later at the same launch price of $50, it just doesn't really feel right to me. Over time, I'm hoping that my opinion changes. And like I said, it could just be the way that I'm just kind of feeling right now. But with the way that the first game started and ended its development cycle and all the problems and issues that it had, I'm just not 100% sure about getting this, especially on launch. And from the reactions that I've kind of seen online, it feels like a lot of people feel the same way. So to kind of wrap up my thoughts here, I think that everything they're doing here is good, but a part of me also feels a little bit of a bitter resentment just because this time 2 years ago, this exact same thing happened. Also, let's not forget that they're announcing this in July and apparently the game is coming out this year. So it just feels like deja vu all over again. So those are my thoughts. Like I said, I wish I could be more excited about this, but I just am not for some reason. I really liked the gameplay of Nickelodeon All Star Brawl, but everything from like the online issues to the quality of life stuff just really turned me off on the game after a little bit. It got very repetitive and the online experience was very, very frustrating, especially when it first started and even just a couple months afterwards. I tried picking it up again and it really didn't feel like they improved all that much. But we'll wait and see what else they have in store. So, this announcement, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2. What are your thoughts on this announcement, as well as your thoughts on the first game versus this game? And here's a fun question. Who did you main in Nickelodeon All Star Brawl number 1? I was a Danny Phantom main, but I'm really looking forward to playing Squidward if I actually end up getting this. Comment below, let me know what you think, and as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button to see more. Thank you again so much for watching. I will see you next time.